3 holiday DIYs for you, starting with this dupe of the Anthropologie holiday candle. So to get started, you'll need a candle and some wax. I'm using wax from those little wax seal stamp kits because the color is really saturated. And to draw, I'm using a toothpick and the back of a thin paintbrush. So I already had this wax seal stamp kit, and it comes with this little rest for your spoon, and it allows you to light a tea candle underneath as well. But if you don't have this on hand, just make sure your wax is extremely melted, otherwise it'll be really difficult to draw with. Basically, all I'm doing is dipping my toothpick in the green wax and then placing it on my candle to form a little Christmas tree. So I found that the easiest way to draw these little Christmas trees is basically by forming a little triangle at the top and then 2 trapezoids stacked on top of each other. You know, getting wider as they get towards the bottom, as a classic Christmas tree would be. Then of course just add a line at the bottom for the base of the tree and you're good to go. You don't need to overcomplicate it, just stick to the basics, you know? So I just repeated this process all throughout, and I think it turned out really cute, honestly. You just have to take into account how you want to space the designs out, so maybe before you get started, just get a rough idea of that so you know where to place things. Since it's wax, there will be a little bit of stringiness happening, sort of like when you use a hot glue gun. This is an easy fix though, because once it dries, you can just peel those pieces away. I then also had a black taper candle on hand, so I decided to make another candle of little mistletoe, which I think looks really cute against the black. I used the same green wax as before and then also used red for the little berries. I just used the back of the paintbrush to do that, and I think it worked pretty well. These turned out so cute, and I love how customizable they can be. I feel like I can do this for a bunch of other holidays in the future, especially if you have a set of the little wax sticks like this, because they're so saturated and they come in so many different colors. There are endless possibilities. So maybe give this one a try. I think it was a lot of fun. It took a little bit of time, but honestly, the end product was so worth it, so I'm really happy with the way these turned out. Alright, so next up are these Mercury glass ornaments. So in order to make this, you're going to need some ornaments, of course. So I just got a bunch of these really cheap plastic ornaments from the craft store. Then you're going to need this mirror effect spray paint. You can't just use the metallic version of spray paint, you have to use this mirror one. So I grabbed that in silver, and then I also grabbed some green spray paint. You'll also need a spray bottle with a 1-to-1 ratio of water and white wine vinegar. No, I'm lying, white vinegar. Just regular white vinegar, not the wine. So the first thing you're going to do to make this is spray some of that mirror effect spray paint inside of the ornament. So you're going to want to make sure you're turning the ornament so that that spreads all over the place and isn't just concentrated in one spot. This is going to act as sort of a base, and you should really let it dry completely. I was using a hair dryer to speed up the process. That's going to really show you the mirror effect once it's completely dry. That way you can have an understanding of what it'll look like sort of moving forward layer by layer. So next we're going to add another spray of that mirror spray paint, and then also add in a spritz or 2 of that white vinegar and water mixture. I really liked the effect I was getting when I just sort of did a hard spritz into the back of the ornament, because it was creating sort of a concentrated bubble effect, if that makes sense. This is what's going to create that mercury glass effect, because the vinegar and water is sort of going to eat away at the paint that you've sprayed inside. So I did that for one layer. You can do another spritz of the mirror spray paint and that white vinegar and water solution. You can really do it as many times as you want. I think that around 2 was like the sweet spot for me, but go as hard as you want. Just make sure that each time you spray inside the ornament, you're constantly rotating it so that everything doesn't sort of stay in one spot and it gets spread throughout. So once I did my second layer, when that was all dry, I then transitioned to the green spray paint. I did basically the same thing. I sprayed the green spray paint in. I like to try and move the green paint around before I went ahead and sprayed with the white vinegar and water solution, just so it was pretty much coated and I didn't have like a lot of blank spots, since I did want this to be a green ornament. So again, you're going to want to dry it in between layers, and then I did another one with the green as well and that same solution. Since this was the last layer, I really wanted it to dry thoroughly. So in the meantime, while the ornaments dry, I went ahead and sprayed the tops of the ornaments with this brass spray paint. I just felt like this would be a cute contrast to the green, but you can of course do whatever color you want or leave it the silver if you prefer that as well. So once that's all complete and dry, you can just reassemble it and put those little caps on top of the ornament. And then I went ahead and got some green velvet and I just tied it into a little bow, used some hot glue to stick it in place, and we were good to go. I think these turned out really cool. I love how they look just like sitting out in a bowl, but they also look really nice on the tree, of course. I don't know, there's something about the way the Christmas lights bounce off of it that looks so cool, and I just love how these turned out. Last but not least, we have this bow garland. So for this DIY, all I used was some ribbon and hot glue. I loved the detailing on this ribbon. I got it in green and then also this ivory. So all I did was just start tying these ribbons into bows. To tie it, you're going to want to start with your palm facing upwards, and you're going to wrap some around your pinky, and then wrap it once more, and then take the end and loop it around your thumb, and then bring the ribbon back over your pinky and loop it once more, so you're covering both your thumb and your pinky twice. So then on that second loop, you're going to then bring the ribbon over the top of the section you just made, loop it underneath, bring it back up, and then tuck it through that little section you just made, and then you're going to just want to pull really tight. So the section that you're pulling is going to end up being one of the flowy pieces of the ribbon that drapes downwards. So you're going to just want to like pull that down as you're pulling it tightly. And then the part that was wrapped around your pinky is the other section that drapes down. So you're just going to want to pull your pinky out and let that one fall. This method allows the main pieces of your bow to be pretty thick because it's got a double layer. So you're really going to want to go ahead and fluff out the edges so they can be as wide as you want, which I think is really cool, and I feel like that just adds to the fullness of these bows. I feel like before this, my bows looked pretty wimpy, so I just repeated this process a million times. I didn't really measure it each time, I just did sort of an arm's length and then a little bit more, but it's really just a learning curve depending on the size of the ribbon that you're using, like how wide it is. So just give one a test and then you'll probably have a better idea. But I used about an arm's length and a half. So I just ended up repeating this process a bunch of times, and I just made as many bows as I needed to cover the length of where I wanted to hang the garland. So in my case, I created 11, but really it'll depend on where you want to hang up your garland and if you need more or less. So once all your bows are made, the rest is really simple. You just gotta glue them together. So I just took each bow one at a time. I put a little hot glue on the right edge and then attached the left edge of the next color to that one and held it together until it just dried a little bit. And then you just repeat the process over and over again. Super simple. To finish it off, I ended up attaching some black velvet ribbon to either end. That way it was just a little bit easier to hang it up. So I really just cut a small section of ribbon and I glued it to the back of my end bows. I did that on either end and then it was good to go. I was able to just hang it up like that, and I think it looks so cute. It's really simple again. This one doesn't entirely scream Christmas because of the colors, but if I had to do this over again, I would definitely try red and white for Christmas, because I think sort of like the peppermint vibe would look really cute. But I'm so happy with the way this turned out. It's a subtle little addition and I think it looks adorable. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you learned something new and got some ideas for this holiday season or the next. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. I'll catch you guys in the next one.